Anything I'd jump in and add to that is
Please.
if Taiwan's 80% correlated to NVIDIA right now. So all the semis are moving up kind of in lockstep. So if you look at Broadcom, NVIDIA, they're all doing the same thing, right? So NVIDIA earnings are going to have some read through to TSM, right?
Absolutely.
But you don't have to pay a load of money for the options on TSM because they're not implying a 10% move. So these are sort of trades you can set up in semi names that you think are going to be correlated to NVIDIA. If you're bullish NVIDIA, but you think NVIDIA calls are expensive, you could set up like call calendar structures that the short leg expires before NVIDIA earnings and the long leg expires after NVIDIA earnings, where you pay very little premium and then you have upside exposure to a semi rally triggered by NVIDIA over the next few weeks, basically. So I like those trades.
Sorry, I felt like I have a sneeze coming on here. So this is the term structure for Taiwan Semi, to your point on NVIDIA earnings.
A little bit. There's a little kink.
There's kink there, which is interesting. But to your point, it's nowhere near the same as NVIDIA. And so if you wanted to play the NVIDIA proxy, you can see these vols are on a relative basis much higher. So that is really quite interesting. The SMH, because it's 20% NVIDIA, it usually tends to have a pretty extreme kink. So Taiwan Semi is a really interesting way to play a directional move.
Avgo is a great one because Avgo earnings are in September. So you could own the kinked expiry in Avgo and know that it's not going to reset because the earnings aren't happening until September. And then you could fund that with a shorter dated option. So that was a trade that I signaled to my guys this week, I think, because I was like, you can piggyback the NVIDIA bullishness, but park yourself in something that won't reset lower like NVIDIA will. And you can actually run that into the actual earnings if you're bullish for the earnings, right?
Yeah, that's a super interesting idea. I like that. That's the value you're offering here, man. Nice job.